Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. To start things off, in a new blog post published on Medium, Kraken's director of business development, his name is Dan Held, lays out a thesis for Bitcoin as a super commodity. The crypto exchange exec debunks the notion that Bitcoin's use of energy is wasteful and argues that the cryptocurrency's energy-intensive proof-of-work mechanism, which relies on cheap electricity to power its network of transactions, is part of a global cycle that has linked everything to energy and the consumption of energy. He said, all things in our lives are closely linked to the price of energy. Purifying water requires energy. Transporting products requires energy. Manufacturing products requires energy. Making YouTube videos requires energy. Refrigerators and freezers require energy. In a free market, the cost of any good largely reflects the energy used in producing that good. You kind of get the gist of his message. Held breaks down the energy consumption of traditional systems that power Fiat, calling the cherry picking of one usage of energy over another, while everything requires energy, subjective. He pretty much laid out how much energy is required for gold mining, gold recycling, paper and currency and minting, banking system itself, governments, and then Bitcoin mining, which is completely dwarfed by governments, banks, and also the mining of actual gold. Held also believes that as Bitcoin in the current market remain obscure, operating with no widespread grasp of how they function, the price of Bitcoin remains dramatically suppressed. He estimates that Bitcoin, which is currently trading around 8,700, it's actually up higher than that right now, would shoot to 1 million, all the way up to $10 million if everyone understood it. Here's the actual tweet right there. Bitcoin critics, such as billionaire investor Mark Cuban, continue to point out that it's too difficult for mainstream users to grasp, with examples of people unable to access their crypto due to lost private keys or confusion about passwords. But developers, powered by startups as well as major players such as Jack Dorsey Square, targeting real-world solutions for failing memories, scalability issues, and privacy concerns, describing the industry as being in its infancy. And quick movement backwards. If a billionaire ever, take it how you will. I think a lot of people sometimes worship billionaires. They may not say that they do, but if someone has a lot of money, typically tens of millions, if not billions, and they say something negative or for or against or whatever, something, people tend to follow their words. Remember, cryptocurrencies weren't made for billionaires. They may be hoarded by and accumulated by billionaires, but it's not for them. It's made for the people around the world who don't have access to banking systems. So whenever a billionaire says, oh yeah, Bitcoin's garbage or Bitcoin's going too slow, the entire cryptocurrency market is, etc., take what they say with a grain of salt. I do agree, however. I think if everyone understood not only just what Bitcoin was, but what Bitcoin offered, if people understood what decentralized cryptocurrencies gave them, or the prospect of the, and I say this lightly, the wealth that they could potentially accumulate in the future, I think a lot of people would have their eyes open. Part of the problem is, and I've mentioned this previously before in the past, is that people won't get it until they're told that they have to get it. What I mean by that is, a lot of you may remember 2017, Bitcoin's price was around $900. By the time Bitcoin was around 10, 12, 13,000, it was in the news, but it wasn't really in the news. By the time Bitcoin was around 17, 18, it was nearing 20,000. That's when every single news paper, television, YouTube started reporting on this amazing growth of this thing. And it was a constant, they give you the dream of, if only you had accumulated this further, this is how much you would have. I'm pretty sure you remember all the things. It was like, well, this person bought theirs in 2014 and he's now a multimillionaire. And you sit there and go, wow, if only I had a time machine to go back 3 years. So I still think that people won't get Bitcoin, i.e. actually holding it and or attempting to understand it, until Bitcoin is around 20 to 50,000. I think that's going to be the point where people are told to go and buy some. But if you know many people, not many people have $50,000 just laying around for them to be able to go, I'm going to buy an entire Bitcoin. I thought about that before, for those of you who not care, but I had a family member who told me, I remember when Bitcoin hit, it was around 19,500. It was like right there. It was very, very close to 20,000. And they were like, oh gosh, I wish you had told me before about this. And I was like, but I did. I told everyone in 2012. I told everyone in 2013. But when Bitcoin's $200 or $300, no one who cares about it. This is why people were losing their computers and throwing all this stuff away, because it didn't seem like an enormous amount of money to them. Anyway, I have been of the mindset that Bitcoin, and I want to say another portion of the cryptocurrency market has been, I don't even think it's, I think the prices are being suppressed, but not as much as people actually believe. If you look at prices from 2017, when we had no adoption, we had none. People who were using cryptocurrencies were seen as nerds. It was people at conventions, people talking about, I have 10 Bitcoin, I have so-and-so, and so I'm going to buy a Lambo. And you look at the hundreds, if I'll scale back from saying thousands of companies, hundreds of companies around the world who are now into cryptocurrencies, who we know are accumulating cryptocurrencies. We had no price metrics in 2017 of a Grayscale, of that Swiss company, of the wink of eyes. Like we didn't know the exact extent of how many Bitcoin all these companies and corporations had. And now that we know, and Bitcoin's price is still below the previous all-time high, is also because people in the media haven't been told to tell other people that now's the time to start talking about this new amazing thing. But it's not being spoken about as much, or you may see negative articles about it simply because Bitcoin's not at its all-time high once again. Once we pass by 20,000 again, you'll start getting all the chatter of, is Bitcoin going to hit 50,000? And when it does, this is when I think normal everyday people will be told to put their money into it. We'll see an even higher spike. I'm assuming around to a $55,000, $65,000 Bitcoin. And this is when, you all know what's going to happen, Bitcoin's price will fall back down dramatically over the course of a month. People will start throwing away their coins. This was garbage. I knew it was a scam. It's because they got in at the very last minute, as opposed to getting in now, or getting into 2017, or getting in when Bitcoin was 3,000. And then we'll have the same exact situation. Bitcoin will hit 65,000, fall back down to 17, 18, 19,000, where it will float around for a good 2 to 3 years. Everyone will call the market garbage until Bitcoin starts trying to hit 1 million. And that's when, once again, same exact people, this is the entire cycle. This is how it has to go in order for Bitcoin to be seen as, for Bitcoin to gain adoption, for Bitcoin to become hyper mainstream, and for people to really understand what they lost. That is going to be the real kicker. This isn't meant to give you FOMO. The real kicker is always going to be, people look back very far. And this is, I think, just part of human regret, human life. I wish I had done this in high school. I wish I had done this in university. I wish I had kissed her. I wish I had called him. It's all these things that stick in the back of our head. When you have a situation where Bitcoin is nearing $100,000 to $500,000 per coin, even if that takes about a good 5 to 10 years, the market will explode, essentially, go up very high because of these people, everyone on the planet, thinking once again, I wish I had bought before. This is my time to buy now. And this is how the cycles end up going. I think if everyone understood Bitcoin, I think the aliens would initiate us into the galactic order, because we as a society would have come too far too fast. And I wish things moved quicker, but I think this is just how we have developed and how we're going to continue to develop. We need cycles, we need busts and booms, we need things to go up high, everyone to get really excited, things to fall back down, everyone to get very depressed, and to kind of continue this over and over. Anyway, I completely agree. But it's also like, final thought, it's also like I was discussing with a friend before, how much further ahead we as humans could be if we all studied science, and if we'd all studied math, and if we'd all studied cryptography and all these other things, as opposed to watching the Kardashians, watching memes, watching some. I told you all before, it's really weird when someone makes a video of them. There was a video that went viral like a month ago of some guy, you all saw it, the guy like jumping out of his car, trying to dance as the car is like slowly moving, and then the car hit him. It had millions of views, and I'm like, why? Can you imagine if we had videos about the future of money, how to gain financial stability, what to do and so, how to accumulate wealth, how to make yourself healthier, how to make your body healthier? What if these had millions of views, as opposed to someone trying to become famous by getting hit by a car? people don't want to understand. I think it's simply because life is simpler when you don't have to really do any work. This article and many others are beginning to pop up, as you may have noticed. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says Ethereum price analysis. Ethereum bulls aim fresh monthly high. This one says XRP's price could soon explode higher by over 100%. Here's why. This one says Bitcoin price analysis aiming for $11,000 after bullish retest. The market is currently moving up, and this is causing a lot of people to once again get that energy and that fervor back in their systems. We are looking like we are trying to test some of the numbers that we had before, and a lot of analysis, that's the word. A lot of analysis are saying that if we retest, I think it's 96, 9,700, if we try to hit that and we go over it, we are poised to go above 10,000, and that could be the point of no return because everyone and their mother is waiting for Bitcoin to go over 10,000. I had a friend before mention this was 2017. He said he also thought that that was the point because that was the moment. I think he had gotten into crypto around 2015, 2016. He said when Bitcoin goes over 10,000, he would be able, it's funny, he'd be able to brag to his family members that he held something that was worth over 10,000, and it worked. His entire family ended up buying fractions of Bitcoin, and that's kind of how you get the entire train really moving. Anyway, that's the price speculation. Where's everything going to go? How much should Bitcoin actually be worth? News. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, Singapore's new payments law has come into effect, which makes it mandatory for all cryptocurrency businesses in the country to get registered and obtain a license. Singapore's Payment Services Act came into effect today, which makes it compulsory for cryptocurrency businesses to obtain a license and get registered. The Monetary Authority of Singapore, or the MAS, announced today that the Payment Service Act was first passed in January last year and is now in effect. According to the new law, all crypto exchanges in the country would have to comply with the AML anti-money laundering laws and counter-financing terrorism requirements in order to obtain or operate in the country. The Monetary Authority of Singapore has previously said that cryptocurrencies carry significant money laundering risks due to their anonymous and borderless nature of transactions. Without having to read any further, this is another country, if you will, who has given the addition of cryptocurrency laws. They seem to always come in two portions, and they never happen at the exact same time. It's always here's what you can do with it. It's legal, taxes. And the other side of that heavy coin already is how cryptocurrency businesses can work within their country. I mean, it's a twofold kind of thing, but this is always the other part. I think we already have cryptocurrency tax law regulation from Singapore. And once again, I think just about every single country has given us laws, except for he who shall not be named. Anyway, let's move on. Here's a good one. A digital currency could see widespread adoption within the next few years. This is from a new report by Deutsche Bank. Published on Monday, the Deutsche Bank reported and said that digital currencies, while only a decade old, have already been shown to have the potential to radically change payments, banking, central banking, and the balance of economic power. They said, we believe a new digital currency could become mainstream within the next 2 years. According to this report, with both China's digital yuan initiative and Facebook's Libra project expected to launch this year. The report said that could make digital currencies available to more than 1.5 billion Chinese citizens and 2.5 billion Facebook users, combined more than half of the world's population. Do you understand why they are, the word's not afraid, why they are taking this seriously now? There we go. At its current adoption rate, cryptocurrencies are running parallel to the internet during its early years, the report had said. Should this continue, there could be more than 200 million blockchain wallets by 2030, up from the 50 million that we currently have in 2020. Monday's report is the third in Deutsche Bank's series that examines the future landscape for payments. As the first paper highlights, Many existing cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin, are too volatile to be used as a viable means of payment or as a store of value. The second in the series indicated that the inherent benefits of cash, mean it would endure as a payments method possibly for decades to come. The point being, news that we had before, and I just saw one of them. I don't think I have it. No, I think I have it somewhere in another tab. The news that we previously had before was that governments and banks kept on saying that cryptocurrencies themselves were not a threat. They were not going to receive any type of mainstream adoption. But this is all like 2 or 3 months ago that all these reports came out where they're talking about, yeah, nothing's going to happen. I see a slow and steady raise. I give it about 20, 30, 40 years, maybe in 50 years. Who was that investor who was like, maybe in 100 years, Bitcoin will gain stability? We are, and I'm choosing my words correctly, we are so close to winning, it hurts. You have to understand the reason why all of this is happening is because of Bitcoin. Not that Bitcoin's the quickest or the fastest or the coolest or the best or the most robust. Every initiative that we have, the reason why we're even talking about banks and governments and social media outlets creating their own currency is because they see Bitcoin as a viable option for how payments are going to go. Here's the actual report right here. The Future of Payments, Part 3. Digital currencies, the ultimate hard power tool. They also had moving to digital wallets and the extinction of plastic cards. And cash, the dinosaur will survive for now. I think in 10 years, we will not... I think people will still have cash, but like framed to show their kids this is what we used to have. I think we are very, very close, and it won't take a lot. Most of what you do right now is probably all digital. If you order from Amazon, if you order from eBay, you're probably using PayPal and or a card that's already linked to that platform. There's no cash passing from your hands to Amazon. A lot of you probably don't go to banks anymore. You probably don't go to ATMs. You swipe your card, you tap your card. If someone hands you cash or tells you to pay in cash, you look at them. What are you doing? It's 2020. No one uses cash anymore. I give it 10 years. It'll be a very easy transition. It just always, I mean, I was going to say it's always something to keep in mind, but you see how all of this is moving. Even when we get news that Bitcoin is too volatile, Bitcoin can't be a store of value. The problem is that we know that these banks and these corporations are also buying up Bitcoin. So then the discussion goes to, are you simply talking negatively about it or that it won't gain any adoption in the very near term simply because you're trying to keep the price down? My speculative eye says yes. Especially, I mean, if none of the banks had only said negative things about crypto, I would be like, okay, well, they really hate it. But when one of them continuously, or even like 5 of them, how many banks did we have since in the last 3 years who kept on talking negatively about crypto and then all came forward talking about, yeah, we've been buying and mining Bitcoin. The NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange are also closely linked to Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan, Fidelity. We know how these circles roll. And even more so if you think about it this way. Think about a world, well, this is pretty much what's happening. Think about a world where someone creates a digital currency and you figure out early on how to get control of that digital currency by talking down about it in 2013, 2014 while you're accumulating it. And then around the year 2022, 2024, somewhere around there, you start telling people to buy the thing that you've already bought so much of, and other people start running to the bank to try and get as much as they possibly can. And you yourself have then created a new world reserve currency that you started buying 10 years before, filling up your own coffers with. Think about it, because that's exactly what's happening right now. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, to be expected, local Bitcoins. One of the oldest cryptocurrency exchanges out there has reportedly begun to suspend accounts of long-term users without prior notifications. Forbes reported on Saturday that users across at least 3 regions, including Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, had noted their accounts to be deactivated. Local Bitcoins users in countries like Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Syria, and Nigeria received messages from the exchange operator that they were telling them that they could take out their Bitcoin holdings by deleting their account. However, some users said they weren't able to access their funds. One Nigerian user who manages a 3-year-old account told Forbes, "One of my customers was due to travel out of the country and had to sell some of his Bitcoin to be able to go, only to notice on his way to the airport that he cannot even access his funds." The source, who insisted on remaining anonymous, I wonder why, said that his customer's account had been shut down on Monday without warning or notification that it might be reactivated. As per the message seen by local Bitcoin's users, the exchange requires users in specific countries to pass through an enhanced due diligence process. However, no further details came out on what specifically that process is about. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this as best I can. Wherever you live in the world, make sure that whatever you're doing is legal. If you are in a country that you are questioning if cryptocurrencies are legal, please make sure to do that right now. You can even stop this video and go check. I want to make sure that everyone is constantly within the legal framework of whatever they're doing, whatever they're buying. If cryptocurrencies are legal within your country, please make sure that you understand. Maybe you have a friend in another country. Maybe you have a friend in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Syria, Nigeria, Venezuela, Colombia. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. Please let them understand or teach them how to download something on their phone that is decentralized, or to have something on their desktop or their computer, or some type of a decentralized wallet somewhere, even if it means them holding their own keys, wallet, everything on a ledger. Please teach them how to do so. We live in a world where one bully can tell other people what they can and cannot do with their money, and if you think that's correct, you probably should not be in the cryptocurrency space. Cryptocurrencies were created for moments like this. No one should be able to tell another entire country what they can't and cannot do with their money. Because you as a ruler may not like another ruler that is one single person, that then falls on the responsibility of the millions of people who live inside of these countries. Can you imagine where you live right now? And many of us are very privileged that we live in countries where we can do more or less what we want with our own money. Can you imagine if you woke up tomorrow morning and your bank account was frozen and there was no reason why? Can you imagine if you and your wife had no money and there was no reason why? Can you imagine you and your boyfriend were heading to the airport and all of a sudden you were told, "I'm sorry, your money's not good here," or your account was frozen? You'd be pretty freaking upset. This is why when billionaires say there's no need for cryptocurrencies, they don't need it, because they already rule the world. They control monetary policies, and what they say usually goes. Like I said, always make sure that what you're doing is legal. Also make sure that what you're doing is that you in some way control your own money. I know that it's very difficult right now. I know that the world is probably only going to get worse before it gets better. That's kind of just how things are. And I don't even place the blame on the actual shoulders of local Bitcoins. Local Bitcoins was created as a way for people to be able to meet up in cafes, meet up in bars, restaurants, McDonald's. You hand someone cash, they tap your phone against theirs and scan theirs and yada, 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 and you get the Bitcoin. Earlier, I believe it was a couple of months ago, we had news that I think local Bitcoins is located in, I want to say Norway. Denmark? It's a Nordic country. And they were told by local authorities, you can't do what you're doing right now because of anti-money, so on and blah, 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 blah. And they had to start telling other people to either take their money off of the platforms or you couldn't use it. The problem is that when you hit multiple countries, like, it's not like there were only, we have 5 country names, but it's not like there are only 5 people living in these countries. That's affecting possibly millions of people. If not, even if it's just 10,000s of people trying to get access to their money, that's a lot. So, I really don't know how to end this portion, but the entire point is, make sure that anyone listening to this, that you know how to have your money on multiple. I tell you this from experience. Don't have your money on just one platform. If you are in possession of, and this is my advice for you. If you are in possession of an entire Bitcoin, if you are in possession of 10,000 XRP, if you are so and so and so, try to split it up into 5. I know that sounds difficult, but it's possibly the easiest way to be able to secure your money and make sure that you have some money. And this could be across Kraken, Coinbase, Binance, and then the last two portions on ledgers. And I mean that as a real, a lot of people get very secure when they see stuff not happening to them, thinking that it will never happen to them. And then when it happens to them, they get very angry because they didn't foresee that things could happen to them. Don't assume just because you live in a certain country that the cryptocurrency exchange you are using will not be taken over or controlled, or that your account will not be frozen or hacked. These things happen. It's just a word of advice. Once again, make sure that whatever you're doing is legal within your borders. But here's the actual article right here. They said that there's something very strange going on with Bitcoin's exchange, local Bitcoins. It's not their fault, though. They've been told, we had the news about this. They've been told by whatever country they're located in, and by other countries, you can't do that. You have to stop these accounts, and all because of sanctions from another country. It's mind-boggling. My hope still always remains that people within troubled countries will, and this is why we have the discussion of understanding Bitcoin. If all the people, and if things like this keep happening to people in these countries, they will slowly begin to understand why Bitcoin is important, why you still have access to your funds, even not putting it on a centralized exchange, but being able to not have to really worry about all these things. And this is why it's a very big issue right now in India and Russia, where people are trying to have economic freedom and sovereignty, and the governments are shaking their head. They're going, no, you can't have that, because this is how we maintain power. What happens when people realize that all you have to do is get Bitcoin, and then you can do what you logically should be able to do? Let's move on. Next up, Bitcoin traders are split on whether the cryptocurrency's once every 4-year halving will jolt prices towards 2017's all-time high of $20,000 or multiples of that. What's clear is that the topic is surging on Google, according to a report from the Norwegian cryptocurrency analysis firm Arcane Research. The search engine's Google Trends feature shows queries on the term Bitcoin halving have doubled this month from December levels to the highest since the last such event in 2016. According to the Arcane Research, the increasing number of Google searches is a sign that the halving might be capturing greater public interest as a potential catalyst for higher prices in 2020. The Bitcoin halving is gaining more traction, Arcane said Friday in the report. There is now a clear indication that awareness of the concept is spreading to new people. It's kind of what we've seen before. I think this is the actual, here's the actual market research from Arcane Research. Here's the actual PDF that they have going on. It's more or less we've seen before, and I've said this before, that when Bitcoin does well, people find a very easy correlation between Google searches. And when it's spiking up, people typically see that the more searches, it means that the more people are actually, usually people type in the words, it's either Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, how to buy Bitcoin, where to buy Bitcoin. There's always a combination of these. And now it appears that people are trying to get more news on the Bitcoin halving to see exactly what effect this is going to have. A lot of times, this ends up being a self-fulfilling prophecy. If everyone thinks that it's going to happen and everyone is buying before it's going to happen and the price gets pushed above 10,000, well, there you go. It actually ended up happening. Everyone loses their minds because the price starts going up. We get really, really close to the halving, and then bam, price goes completely insane. So we are still in January. I, for some reason, thought it was March because I'm impatient and I want the halving to be here. But I think February and March are probably going to be very big indicators of where the prices of the cryptocurrency market could go. I think April is going to be the real test. The halving is supposed to happen in May. April should be the point where everyone is getting very antsy and is buying up tons. Me and a lot of my friends have been accumulating. Once again, if prices are up or down, it does not matter. However, the itch is definitely there to buy more as we get closer to this actual event. Yeah. And to kind of finish things off, major Swiss private banking and wealth management group. I repeat that, Swiss private banking and wealth management group Julius Baer has launched a digital assets trading and custodial service via a partnership with regulated crypto specialist SEBA. Julius Baer announced this new digital assets offering on the 21st of January, the result of its 2018 minority equity stake acquisition and later partnership with crypto startup SEBA Bank AG in February 2019. SEBA, which was founded in April 2018 by former UBS bankers, was granted a securities dealer and banking license by the Swiss Financial Market Supervisory Authority known as FINMA in August of last year. According to Julius Baer's announcement, the firm's entry into the cryptocurrency industry has been conditional upon SEBA's attaining the regulatory green light for its services. Where's the other? To meet it, Julius Baer will be offering its clients such services as secure digital asset custody, cryptocurrency transaction solutions, as well as consolidated portfolio overviews for both traditional and digital assets. The bank will support a select group of major cryptocurrencies ostensibly chosen on the grounds of their liquidity, security, and technical robustness. Why is another bank in Switzerland getting into cryptocurrencies? Could it be that that's no. I don't think they see where all of this is going. I don't think their other rich friends have told them how much Bitcoin they already have. And even, weird, right? Why would another major Swiss bank be getting into crypto? The bank offers a range of crypto-focused account services, including a SEBA wallet app, e-banking services, and SEBA card facilities, with support for 5 major cryptocurrencies. I guess this is part of their partnership with SEBA. They will support Bitcoin, Ether, Stellar, Litecoin, and Ether Classic, which also keeps popping up over and over again. That could be, I don't want to say something to look out for, but I think there's a reason why Ethereum Classic has been popping up and why Grayscale was like, yeah, we'll keep funding you for 2 years. What do they know? Anyway, this is, I think, I was going to say 7. This is at least our 5th major bank, private wealth, equity money, rolling around in gold coins firm who has taken the foray into cryptocurrencies. You have to see where all of this is going. It has to be crystal clear at this point if you want to have a future in crypto. We are going to look at how many banks are into crypto from 2017, openly into crypto. Because I can assure you, I was going to name some names, but I bet you a Bitcoin, there are at least 20 other banks on this planet who are accumulating cryptocurrencies. It might not even be Bitcoin. They're accumulating crypto, and they probably won't tell anyone for the next 10 years. And you'll see their portfolio when people are able to look back and they give it all out to the public. We'll see that they were accumulating Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies very, very long ago. A lot of this is hush-hush. So whenever a bank comes out with information that they're trying to have a digital assets trading and custody service, I mean, come on. It's just so freaking obvious at this point. If you look at how the world has changed since the 70s, since we left the, the gold standard, and how banks became big money and big industry in the 80s. If you look at the actual, the actual earnings of CEO and heads of banks and stuff like that from the 1969 before, I think they made double or triple what a normal person was making. So for the sake of argument, if you're making 10 per hour, they were maybe making 30 because they were the boss. There was no situation where you were making 10 and they were making 9,000 per hour. The people who did that, who controlled these industries, who still control these industries, who control how money works, where money goes, how money's created, have come upon something that can't be printed at will. That can't simply be mass produced or mass created because we know that it can't through the protocol. So what happens when we live and have lived in a world for a very long time, where all the money that we know through the push of a button, you can make $1 trillion extra dollars. You can make 500 billion extra euros. What happens when we find something that there's only 21 million of? And this is the something, once again, if people got it, where Bitcoin would be. There are trillions upon trillions of dollars on this planet. Trillions. A large portion of dollars are actually burned or destroyed because they're broken, cut in half, cut up, drawn on, have illegal substances on them, you name it. But that still doesn't account for the amount that's actually printed. Imagine a world where there aren't trillions of something, where there aren't hundreds of billions of something, where there's not. Imagine the entire planet trying to get something where there's only 21 million of it, where that 21 million won't be created until the year 2140, where right now we only have 18 million of it. And the 18 million that we do have, around 6 million of it is lost and gone forever. We will probably never ever see these Bitcoin ever again. And then we get to the situation of the millionaires and billionaires who own 10,000 Bitcoin, 5,000 Bitcoin, 45,000 Bitcoin, 200,000 Bitcoin. You know the whole story. What happens when Bitcoin's price starts going higher? We see economic collapse around other parts of the world. Things are not looking too well for a lot of countries. They're already not looking too well. Imagine when we finally do have a stock market crash or a 3-year-long recession, and you have 7.4 billion people trying to acquire something where there's only 1 million of. No one, I think, gets it. You have to step back and really look and go, that's where everything is going to really hit the fan. And then you also have to think how rich the people become who have 5 Bitcoin, who have 10 Bitcoin, who have 10,000 Bitcoin. What happens if Bitcoin hits 1 million to 10 million in the next 10 years and you have 5 Bitcoin and you have 10 Bitcoin? You're lucky enough to have 1,000 Bitcoin. The banks do. The banks are already mining, buying, accumulating. That 9,000 per Bitcoin is nothing for them. It's blatantly obvious at this point, and I know that everyone I know that at least 20% of people within the cryptocurrency space understand it, but for the other 7.3999 billion people on this planet who haven't really understood yet, they are in for the shock of their lives. How hurt, and I mean this realistically, how hurt would you be if you heard in the year 2025 that Bitcoin just hit $1.5 million, random number, just threw it out there, and you had none? And then you tried to accumulate as much as you could, but all you're getting is small amounts of Satoshis, as opposed to not financial advice, but being able to accumulate right now. People don't get how few Bitcoin there actually are out there. When people are buying, they are not buying 1 Satoshi. They're probably usually buying at least 100,000 Satoshi, if not 1 to 10 million Satoshi during each purchase. Pay attention to where this is all going and why big names are constantly sticking their neck out to make sure that you know that they're getting into crypto and what they're going to offer. It is far too obvious at this point. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Tigara Machonisa, Bake Me a Cake, Arfmedic17, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bodie McBoatface, Yes to Crypto, Miller Hitch Test Every Day and Cal Skips Leg Day, Minting Coins, Jeremy Fox, Jim Gardner, Anthony Charles, Nick Mangialavori, Paxis, Crypto and Beer Shipmate, Vlad the Impaler, Richie Rich III, Nick Kanaya, Setsuna Damien, Nicholas Run Earth, One Piece, One Love, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Mil Louise, Adobo, Bankroll Network, Crypto Joe 242 to the World, Wise Night Owl, Jared Schneider, Brady Niels, Master Ventures in Thailand, Mohamaroni, Adam Graysick, Todd Mullis, Barebones Mining, A Bibliophobia, The Animal Reader, John Sarson, Mr. Pickles, Nostromo, Chongololo, Songololo, and Professor Wally from Gunbot. University. Thank you all very, very much for your support. And thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you. At the moment, for those of you not looking at the screen, Bitcoin is currently at $9,012. It was at a 9,080, something like that, a couple of hours ago. People have been, I always assume when the prices are looking like they're going down, people have been trying to push the prices down. A couple of hours ago, many of the coins were in green. That's to say their dollar price and their Satoshi prices were in green. A lot of the Satoshi prices are now in red. This is exactly what we were just talking about while we had the other articles, that Bitcoin looks like it's poised to move a little bit higher. I think we will see by the middle of this day. I think we can easily pass by 9,100. I think a lot of the, it's not selling pressure. I think a lot of the selling that ends up happening is the fear that other people have that other people will be afraid. And this is how people usually end up losing money. The point being, the market itself is in green. The big ones right now, EOS is up by 8.8%. Who the fudge knows why? Litecoin is up by 6.25. Cardano's up by 15%. I don't believe there was any major Cardano news recently, but if you look right below it, do you see the anomaly? Binance Coin has a 24-hour volume of 254 million. Cardano has 275 million. Ethereum Classic has 4 billion. Not really sure. I mean, I guess if we, I guess maybe this is the translation from the Grayscale news. Getting news that someone who owns 14% of all Ethereum Classic is going to be funding the operation for the next 2 years. Bullish, bullish, bullish. Everything else is green, but you know they seem like they're trying to maintain their green as opposed to actually having any actual movements. I hope you all enjoyed. I think we are. Yeah. I'm going to reserve what I was going to say. Let's just see how the rest of the week plays out. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. Make sure to have a great, wonderful day, and make sure to don't wait for Bitcoin to hit 10,000. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.